The RobertsTechJobs.com Indy Speedway League is back on the air. RobertsTechJobs.com, your Midwest leader in temp to hire contract positions in the IT field for IT professionals, proudly brings you heat race number 2 for the RobertsTechJobs.com Elite Invitational. This broadcast also being brought to you by Hanover Fist Racing and the Disabled American Veterans. Disabled American Veterans Association, an all-volunteer, non-critical medical transport fleet for America's veterans. For more information on how you can get involved, go to dav.org. This broadcast also being brought to you by David Llewellyn and the DHL Express, Robert Lacavara and Convergent Composites, Joe Morganti and the Lugnuts Hub, Motorsports Graphic Designs. For all your in-sim graphical needs, go to Motorsports Graphic Designs. Give Tyler Graff a call and say, hey Tyler, I got something going through my head. I want to see it on my race car. Motorsports Graphic Designs. And promotional consideration paid for by Mr. Hoot Baker. Speaking of Mr. Hoot Baker, joining us on the broadcast in the broadcast team, Mr. Hoot Baker, Mr. Gary Bauer, and Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett. Gentlemen, how the hell are you?
I'm good, Tony. Hi, guys. Let's have a good race. I hope it's not quite like that first heat race.
Wow. Yeah.
This is Hoot, and I don't think it will be, Gary. All good races, though, but definitely competitive people.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It's going to be a fun second heat race. I mean, this is technically heat race 1, but it's actually heat race 2. But
the heat race number 2 is going to decide who starts on the inside line of the RobertsTechJobs.com Invitational to take place on Sunday.
Yes, and sadly that this is Hoot, and I won't be one of them, as I participated in the Open earlier. Had a good run there, made it up to 4th, but only the top 3 get in, and I just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I think our newest teammate tonight might win this race, so David Llewellyn.
I'm sorry, did I just hear that correctly? David Llewellyn has been confirmed as joining Team Booze Brother as the 4th car.
Yes, sir.
Wait,
so,
who's the third number?
Mike Erder was announced at the tail end of the Elite Open as joining Team Booze Brother, getting the call-up from the iRacing Icebreaker Pro Mazda Series, the RobertsTechJobs.com ISL Pro Mazda Series. So currently out on track, Ronnie Osmer, Jake Gordon, Quentin Young, David Llewellyn, Kevin Pasquich, Mike Whitaker, and Martin Miller, the 7 cars slated to go off in this one.
Yeah, I got to tell you there, Tony, I'm going to be watching Martin because I haven't seen him in, probably a month or so. And, Mike Whitaker is always right there.
Of course, Mike Whitaker, never count out the world's fastest hippie, being as he just won the inaugural season of the RobertsTechJobs.com Indy Speedway League DW12 series. So definitely a driver to keep an eye on in the 707 and the 333, the half-evil car, if you will, for Martin Miller. Ronnie, the thing is that we thought the previous race was stacked. Take a look at the names in this one. Ronnie Osmer, 4 race wins on the season and only had 7 total race starts. Jake Gordon was running in the top 10 of the DW12s all season, got sat for one of the races in the chase, actually the first round of the DW12 chase. So had to, actually park for a moment. So starting up on the pole for this one is going to be Ronnie Osmer.
Yeah, and looking at these times in here, we're looking at 26.1 for Dave Llewellyn and Ronnie Osmond at 25.7. And, It's negligible. We'll see.
So, we're taking a look at the grid right now. Ronnie Osmer starting up on pole. Looks like Jake Gordon going to be starting outside row number 1. Quentin Young and Kevin Paskowicz make up row number 2. Martin Miller and Mike Whitaker row number 3. And starting shotgun on the field looks like David Llewellyn. So 25 laps the scheduled distance for this one. And everybody trying to get some heat into their tires. Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett on race control. You may want to warn them that that's still not completely legal. And I'm seeing 2 pH-aware cars here. Now, for those of you who are just joining us and weren't with us for Sunday night's broadcast, the iRacing community lost one of its biggest fans when Addis Doyle passed away, a pulmonary hypertension patient, was actually on the lung transplant list, lost the battle to pulmonary hypertension, and passed away suddenly this past weekend. So all of the Team PH aware cars are running the hashtag all in for Addis. And for more information on how you can help end the pulmonary hypertension and help put an end to pulmonary hypertension, go to phaware.org. Pace car getting ready to duck on in. Ronnie Osmer getting the green and jumping out to an early lead. Jake Gordon going with him on the high side. Kevin Paskowicz trying to make some hay on the outside as well. Paskowicz currently sitting 4th. And that is Jake Gordon, Ronnie Osmer, Jake Gordon, Quentin Young, Kevin Paskowicz, Martin Miller, Mike Whitaker, and David Llewellyn, your current running order, as it looks like we got a lot cleaner start this time than we did in heat race number 1. As both PH-aware cars go around.
Get everyone.
Martin Miller eating the wall. Kevin Paskowicz able to keep it off the wall. Mike Whitaker getting a piece of that one as well. Let's go to the replay on that and see what took place.
Well, sadly, Mike Whitaker just did the same thing I did in the Open. He just kind of jammed on the brakes a little bit or whatever. He didn't contact anybody, just spun it out.
As we're watching Whitaker work his way down the back straightaway this time.
What's crazy in these cars, I noticed right after that race of ours ended tonight, is the minute you get out of the gas, it just goes around. You don't have to touch a brake or anything. It just loops.
Yeah, and at this point, race control ought to be telling hey, it's cold tires because we're seeing what's going on here. Same thing.
So Whitaker going to have to burn a fast repair. Miller going to have to burn a fast repair. Miller already into the pits. Looks like he might be towing. Whitaker able to keep going. Martin Miller already 2 laps down. Whitaker just getting to pit road this time. So we're going to go back to live. And we saw, like you guys said, it was just cold tires and trying to stay off of each other. They both lifted, and Mike Whitaker getting a piece of it at the end, trying to avoid everybody. Ronnie Osmer still showing the way. Jake Gordon sitting 2nd, Quentin Young 3rd, David Llewellyn and Kevin Paskowicz running out your top 5.
Yeah, that was just a bad break for Mike there, and that and I don't know whether it was just a lack of practice because I know he was in for the practice for the Open, and it just these cars just do that. If you lift on those cold tires, apparently they're going to run you out.
And I noticed Quentin Young was really loose in practice. I saw him spin 3 or 4 times. Maybe did a little wing adjustment and got that thing straightened out.
Well, it's an inherent problem with the Pro Mazda that it does have a tendency to have an off-throttle loose running condition, is the word I'm looking for. And it's very difficult to dial that out and not completely kill the car on speed. And this being one of the bigger tracks that these cars are going to see, it's 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It looks like these guys are trying to get some heat into the tires any way they possibly can. Short of doing a John Force style burnout. You see Ronnie Osmer gas, brake, which race control may want to warn him about that.
That's still classed as scrubbing tires, right?
That's still classified as scrubbing tires. And it's more dangerous than actually swerving, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and in case the listeners didn't know, that's what the race control Sam was up there doing. You cannot scrub tires in here.
So lights are out on the pace car as Quentin Young does the exact same thing, almost killing Ronnie Osmer. So Osmer, Gordon, Young, Llewellyn, Paskowitz, Whitaker, Miller. Miller 2 laps down, back out onto the track, trying to tag onto the tail end of the field. Looks like he may catch the field towards the middle of the back straightaway. Don't see him in screen yet. There he is. If he timed this right, he may end up cold trickling the field.
Yeah, all 3 of the top cars are doing that.
And I'd like to report that all 3 of the top 3 cars are under the age of 21, so you may want to explain to them what rules mean. Pace car getting ready to duck on off. Ronnie Osmer going to lead us back to green. As pace car gets ready to twitch, there it goes. Green flag's out. Osmer is away. Osmer, Gordon, Young, Llewellyn, Paskowitz, Whitaker, current running order. That's your lead lap cars. Martin Miller 2 laps down. As he's working on Whitaker right now, trying to get by him. Gordon to the inside of Osmer. And around goes Young.
Yellow flag is out.
Once again, the cold tires. Diving
There
low.
it goes.
Osmer's
There
around
goes
as well.
Osmer.
And Osmer is around as well. So, and Paskowitz. No, that's Miller. That's Miller. Sam, you really need to change the roof on Miller's car. Or the air intake, so I can tell those 2 apart, please. So let's go to the replay, see what happened here. Watch your third car in line, the silver, white and blue car. And that is Quentin Young as they pound it off into turn number 3. Young tries to duck down. You see him burp out of the throttle there, and around it went. Did Osmer have help?
Yeah, I got to tell you, looking back at the replay on Quentin, you just cannot attribute that to anything other than just cold tires and driving in too hard.
Well, we're watching Osmer right now. Nope, Osmer just
you have to
got
be very,
wide.
very smooth on restarts in these cars, even if you've been out there for 15 laps.
I was
Osmer,
watching Ronnie Osmer and Quentin Young. They were both doing burnouts on the pace laps, and it just proves that does not work.
well, the other thing too is Osmer saw Gordon go to his inside, gave way too much room, and ate the marbles. As he eats the pit road wall, we're watching the replay here. That car is effed. As he tries to limp it back to his pit.
Yeah, Tony, and the other thing with the cold tires is I was just thinking about earlier, is when you're drafting behind somebody a little bit, you get that draft on the left front wing. That is basically lifting your right rear tire, and that just makes it even harder to push down into that turn like that. Absolutely.
So right now, Jake Gordon, the young gunner, second generation driver out of Indiana. Now, for those of you who might recognize the last name, no, he's not related to Jeff Gordon. Jake is the son of 9-time Little 500 winner Eric Gordon. So short tracks are Jake's game, plain and simple. He has the wily old veteran David Llewellyn behind him, the newest member of Team Booze Brothers, currently sitting second place. Kevin Paskowitz for Team Phenomenal sits third. Quentin Young for Team NLR sitting fourth. Ronnie Osmer for Evolution Racing sitting in, looks like he's moving back to sixth place as he's getting the EOL. And Mike Whitaker, your right now inaugural DW12 champion, currently sitting in fourth place. And Quentin Young also going to the tail end of the field. Those two having brought out the last caution. Martin Miller, because he did spin in the last during the last caution, did not get the lucky dog.
Yeah,
he was towing, so he didn't get an EOL.
Yeah, I was going to say, Martin Miller, 2 laps down. He's the only one off the pace lap. And, we'll see how he recovers. But, yeah, that's a little disheartening.
True story is we will be 15 laps to go this time across the stripe. Real short one this time. And you got to wonder what type of fuel loads these guys are running. If anybody is running a full boat of fuel, which would be roughly 9.5 gallons. Or if anybody is running a little light, considering it's only a 25-lap race.
3 gallons will get you 30 laps pretty easy.
And what we're considering a full tank in these cars of 9.5 gallons, considering that the car holds 19, but we're allowing a 50% fuel fill, you're looking right around 100 laps under just full tilt running. So Jake Gordon, David Llewellyn, Kevin Paskowicz, Mike Whitaker, Ronnie Osborne, Quentin Young, and I'm not live. Now we're live as Jake Gordon
Wouldn't
jumps
be
out to a
broadcast
lead.
if that didn't happen.
Absolutely. Hey, at least I don't have the grid up on the screen.
Oh no, not again.
And Martin Miller goes around again and collects the inside wall off the racing line. We stay green.
I was watching Martin Miller, so I'll let you know what's going on in the replay.
So
I'm thinking that's cold tires and not enough laps turned because he didn't make it to practice earlier.
Absolutely,
yes.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that they've got some heat into the tires now, as we are officially now 2 laps under green. They've got some heat in the tires now, and David Llewellyn and Kevin Paskowicz are starting to reel Jake Gordon in. And never count out the world's fastest hippie, Mike Whitaker, who currently sits in 4th place. Working lap 13.
And just to expand on the last one, Martin Miller just got a lot of pressure off Ronnie Osborne. Maybe he just pushed it a little too much and wiggled, and he lost it.
Fair enough. As David Llewellyn searching for some clean air to try to get some on that front spoiler or front wing. Definitely reeling in Gordon.
Yeah, that gap's definitely getting smaller and smaller as we go along.
And Jake Gordon, known to be setting up for short runs, as we are going to be 11 laps to go this time across the stripe. Paskowicz reeling him in too. Paskowicz letting Llewellyn to the bottom. Gonna need to get into the draft to really make that work. Bonds it into turn number 1. Gordon, you can see him starting to have to feather it a little bit. Able to keep it wound up off turn number 2. Paskowicz able to keep it wound up as well. Paskowicz currently sitting in 3rd. Paskowicz starting to gap Ronnie Osmer.
So inside 7th row has now been confirmed because Martin has retired from the race.
Fair enough. So Martin Miller, the first car out.
Yeah, I think Martin probably did that because he was already 2 laps down or 3 laps down, and it just wasn't working for him. And he was probably happy that caution didn't get thrown there because he was just way out of just being in the groove.
As we are 10 laps to go, we are now 9 laps to go. Jake Gordon continuing to show the way. David Llewellyn right on his rear wing. Kevin Paskowicz within striking distance. Ronnie Osmer and Mike Whitaker still within striking distance. Quentin Young way off the pace. Looks like he might, as Paskowicz goes to the inside of Llewellyn.
Now we're starting to see those tires warm up a little bit, I think.
Absolutely. Now, I know Paskowicz was concerned about his setup earlier, and he and I spoke about that. And I told him it's a long-run setup. You get some green flag laps, and you're going to be golden. And lo and behold, there he goes. He's, battling for second right now. Back to the inside of Llewellyn. Llewellyn hanging tough on the high side. Paskowicz almost with the clear. Now has the clear off of 4. Doesn't come up.
Well, anybody knows Dave is, Dave is never going to give an inch.
And they touched.
Oh no, that wasn't David. David came down.
And Ronnie Osmer going on a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
KP.
And collected KP along with it. And,
No, KP collected Ronnie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's watch this again. You see Llewellyn pinch down. KP's there. KP goes sideways. And both cars just go sideways up into the wall. What? No, what? I heard. I heard a no-no. What was the no-no?
The no-no was that David was up in the second lane. I don't know how he could. He just went around because David took the air off of him.
Well, let's go to the replay and see if there was actually contact.
Roll that beautiful beam footage.
We're following a chase cam right now with Paskowicz. You see Llewellyn on the high side in the silver car, Paskowicz on the inside, Llewellyn on the high side, and yes, there was contact.
Yeah, that was, oh my gosh.
And KP rolls it. Luckily sticks the landing, though. Osmer not coming off the gas, trying to get it spun around. Paskowicz looks like he might be able to stay on the lead lap. Looks like he did.
I'm going to have to almost call that one on Dave. That's race control's call, though. Sorry, I shouldn't even comment.
Already given.
I was going to say, Llewellyn did come down on Paskowicz. Looks like Osmer taking it behind the wall. So, inside row number 6, confirmed Ronnie Osmer going to be starting 11th on the field for Sunday's 200-lap RobertsTechJobs.com Elite Invitational.
I think row number 5 might be confirmed at this point as well.
Not necessarily. KP is still running.
I managed to keep it on the lead lap. Good on him.
Now that David's running with us, I might have to share my setup with him for Sunday.
So I would like to remind everybody you are watching a presentation of the RobertsTechJobs.com Indy Speedway League Elite Invitational Qualifying Heat Race number 2 to set the inside row for Sunday's 200 laps, RobertsTechJobs.com Elite Invitational. RobertsTechJobs.com, your Midwest leader in attempt to hire and contract positions in the IT field for IT professionals, proudly brings you the Elite Invitational 200-lap Pro Mazda race from the Milwaukee Mile. Currently showing the way, Jake Gordon, the young gunner, second-generation driver out of Indiana. Right behind him, going to be starting outside row number 1 for this particular restart. The world's fastest hippie, Mike Whitaker, who was able to bring home the DW12 Season 1 championship in the ISL. We saw that just this past Sunday. One of the other young gunners in the league, Quentin Young, sitting 3rd, Kevin Paskowicz 4th, David Llewellyn 5th. Those are the cars that are left running. Ronnie Osmer, first car laps down, 4 laps down, retired from the race. Martin Miller, the first car out of the race, in 7th place. Tony Trapasso up in the booth, joined with Gary Bauer, Hoot Baker, and Sam Cooper-Bennett, as it looks like we are going to have a green-white checker finish in heat race number 2.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Tony, who was, the guy I'm always watching, Mike Whitaker. Look right there. There he is. In an incident earlier, but right back in it.
Never count out the world's fastest hippie.
Do we have time here, guys?
Time for what?
How long before we go green here?
About 32 seconds.
David's chase screen, and KP isn't even to his rear tire yet, and I don't think he knew he was there. He came down and
a bit late now.
You're a lot late, Gary.
Look at the jump there.
Jake Gordon anticipating when that pace car was going to twitch. Mike Whitaker asleep at the switch. Here comes Quentin Young to the inside of Mike Whitaker.
KP falling back dramatically.
KP falling back dramatically. Just going to be happy with 9th place starting spot as they go 3 wide into turn number 3. David Llewellyn.
That is never going to turn out well.
Quentin Young, the meat in the sandwich.
Oh no! And KP had nowhere to go.
You know what? Let's watch that from KP's helmet cam. So you see them as they go into coming out of turn number 2. You see the 3 of them in front of them. Llewellyn goes to the low side, Quentin Young in the middle, and Mike Whitaker on the top side. Whitaker giving plenty of room. Quentin Young lifts off the gas, and KP just catches a race car to the face.
Now he knows how it feels.
Oh, I'm sure he knows how it feels after what happened the rest of the season in the DW12s and IRO5s.
And I guess the winner of that is Dave, but then again, Mike Whitaker is, happy to get out of it too, because he was on the outside.
True story. So it looks like Quentin Young has retired now. So 9th starting spot for Sunday's RobertsTechJobs.com Elite Invitational is going to be Quentin Young. Left out on the track right now, Jake Gordon, David Llewellyn, Mike Whitaker, and Kevin Pasquich. The question is, does Pasquich have a fast repair left?
Race is over.
Race is over.
And the race is over. Shows what I know. So
David locked up the 3rd spot. And Jake got first for the race Sunday.
Jake Gordon getting first place in heat race number 2. Jake, are you with us?
Yeah.
So you, sir, are now going to be starting on pole for Sunday's RobertsTechJobs.com Elite Invitational. Talk us through that last restart, and you knew you had to get a good one on Whitaker.
Yeah, Whitaker's always been a great restarter in any car we run in. And, I had Quentin behind me, and he's going for the win. Everybody here's going for the win, but I knew it was going to be a really aggressive last lap. So, where my real-life experience came in was to chug them all down and just gas the crap out of it. So that's what I did.
So you're saying you Texas to start?
Yep.
Okay. Able to come home in second place with that last lap charge. David Llewellyn. David, talk us through your race. You had some troubles around mid-race, but you're able to rebound to second place. Talk us through that.
I just didn't see KP to the inside. My spotter said I was clear, and he must have just got a good run on the inside, and I cut down, and all of a sudden I saw him, and I don't know if he drifted up, or I know I was cutting down, but I think he might have drifted up, but we got together. But on that last restart, being on the inside, that was the place to be. I knew I'd get a good run on whoever was on the outside and go right around them, so that wasn't no real big deal. I would have liked to have won it, but, getting that AOL penalty kind of messed me up on that.
Well, for what it's worth, you are going to be starting inside row number 2 for Sunday's RobertsTechJobs.com Elite Invitational, 200 laps of scheduled distance. Do you have a lot of long run experience on this setup?
Yeah, I ran a bunch of the Pro Mazda races in the official series. They were 70 lap races, and I won 2 this season. So my setup's good for a complete fuel run, so I don't think I'll have any trouble.
All right, fair enough. And joining us now in the booth, Mike Whitaker, the world's fastest hippie. Mike, you're able to hang on, starting inside row number 3. You're going to be starting up towards the front. Talk us through your anticipations for Sunday's 200 lapper. Mike Whitaker.
I think the first 150 is going to be just to survive.
Fair enough. Now, have you had many long runs in this car on the setup that you've got?
I did a lot of practicing, and I did one race in that same week when David said he had a couple of wins. I did a 70-lap race, and I got a 5th out of it. So I do. I don't know how it's going to go over 200, but I have some experience.
Well, for what it's worth, and I'll share the same information that I shared with the guys from heat race number 1. As far as a 50% fuel fill, if you go to a full tank, you're looking at roughly 100 laps.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured 1 stop, maybe 2, to be sure.
Now, something we were talking about with the first group from the heat race number 1. What if you care to share it with us? Do you have any tire strategies that you'd like to talk about? If you plan on taking 2, if you plan on taking 4, if you thought that far ahead yet, let's go there.
If I'm going to change them, I'm definitely going to change all 4. I don't see where just changing half of them is going to be any advantage at all. If I do stop for for tires, if I get a chance, I'll probably change all 4. And
Good
that
run, Mike.
yeah, thanks. And that actually does look like a good idea. Probably sometime around 100 laps or so. If I get the opportunity, I think I would put new tires on.
And that seems to be the consensus, what a lot of people are talking about doing.
Yeah, I remember when I ran the 70-lap race, I changed tires at about lap 40, and that's where I got about 3 or 4 positions in the last 20 laps of the race because I had better tires than the guys that tried to run the whole 70 laps on one set of tires. So I kind of think that this is going to go the same way.
So you're saying that we may possibly see a couple different tire stops depending on how the cautions fall on Sunday?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if we have to do a green flag stop, you're not going to want to change tires. It just takes too long. But I think depending on the cautions, I think everybody's going to change them at least once.
All right, fair enough. Jake Gordon, congratulations on the win in heat race number 2. You're going to be starting on the pole. David Llewellyn inside row number 2. Whitaker inside row number 3. Kevin Pasquich hanging on to inside row number 4. Quentin Young row number 5. Ronnie Osmer row 6. And Martin Miller row 7. And anybody else who did not qualify will be starting behind them. And we will have the complete lineup for you later in the week. Stay tuned to the ISL Facebook page for that information. I believe that's going to do it here from the Milwaukee Mile tonight. We'll see you folks Thursday night from Lime Rock Park in Lime Rock, Connecticut for the RobertsTechJobs.com Icebreaker Pro Mazda Series, the one road course that they're going to be looking at this season. If any of you gentlemen plan on running that one, it's going to be a fun time at Lime Rock Park. If not, we will see you back here Sunday. Broadcast scheduled to start 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time for the RobertsTechJobs.com Indy Speedway League Elite Invitational. This broadcast is brought to you by RobertsTechJobs.com, your Midwest leader in temp to hire and contract positions in the IT field for IT professionals. So if you are an IT professional in the Midwest or you're looking to relocate, go to RobertsTechJobs.com and be sure to let Bill know the ISL sent you. Congratulations again to Jake Gordon for heat race number 2 win. For Mr. Hoot Baker, for Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, and for Mr. Gary Bauer, this is Tony Trapasso saying, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you Sunday night for the RobertsTechJobs.com Elite Invitational.
See you later.
Good night. Good run, all 3 of you guys. Good job.